Hi, this is Joel Salkoff for E-Architect. I'm here at the founder of the Pajama Factory here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, with Mark Winkleman, who is also an architect and lives in New York and sort of commutes. This is his pad. He's down the hallway. Actually, he's next door to me in the new studio I've rented. Architectural critics need studios too, and so Mark has been renovating 9 buildings. Is it 9 buildings?
8.
8 buildings. So how is there a building 9 if there are 8 buildings?
Yeah, we have building 10 actually.
I see. So there's more buildings to do?
No, two of them were torn down.
Why?
One of them is the boiler house. I mean, we didn't tear them down, but over the past 100 years, 2 of them have been torn down.
Why don't you sit down on your couch there?
One of them was I need my coffee. What do I do with my coffee? I'm always losing my coffee. There it is.
Okay.
Yeah, building 2, I think, was the offices.
Uh-huh.
And I wish that was still around. It looked like a really neat building, but it was torn down years ago.
Uh-huh.
And building 8 was the boiler room.
Uh-huh.
Boiler building. It was out in the middle of the parking lot, a big building, but it was.
What year did you buy the Pajama Factory?
2007.
And what caused you to buy it?
Momentary lapse of reason.
Uh-huh.
Well, we bought 300,000 square feet for the price of a 1-bedroom apartment in Manhattan.
Uh-huh.
And it seemed like a wonderful big sandbox to play in as an architect. So that's what we're doing.
So, tell me a little bit about your architecture background. You received your architecture. You majored in architecture in college?
I did, yeah. Syracuse had a professional degree, a 5-year professional degree for architecture. So for some reason, I always knew I wanted to be an architect and went straight into it. And then after graduating,
How did you know you always wanted to be an architect?
my mother said I made good sandbox designs.
Uh-huh.
She was an interior designer, so she had some influence.
What was her name?
Nancy.
What kind of interior designs did she do?
She would kill me if I said interior decorating, but that's really kind of what she did in suburban New Jersey.
Does this reflect your mother's taste?
No. Well, yes and no. She was always very concerned about how the house looked. Things were placed precisely in our house.
I will never be as neat as you are.
She was neat. She had perfect color memory. The way some people have perfect tone.
Yeah.
She could look at a blue in a fabric and 3 weeks later pick out a paint chip that would match. Or usually it was the other way around. She'd pick out the paint chip that matched something in the fabric. Color pitch, perfect color pitch. So she loved color. So that, we have a blue ceiling.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Blue ceiling.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here's some pipes. Hold on, let me finish with the pipes.
So.
Go ahead. You can talk.
So my mother had influence on me, but she wasn't an architect.
I see. So when you were in high school, did you know you wanted to be an architect?
I guess so.
What high school did you go to?
The public high school in New Providence, New Jersey. And, I was the only kid who ever went to architecture school. Nobody knew anything about it. And neither did I, really.
What did you learn in architecture school?
That's interesting. A lot. I was social chairman at the fraternity. Does that count?
What kind of fraternity?
Yeah, just a bunch of guys.
Not an architecture fraternity.
No.
You don't have a secret architecture handshake.
No, nothing like that. No, that was kind of the problem with the architecture school. Everybody worked too much. They were all nerds.
My colleague Sonali Kumar got her architecture degree from Penn State, and then she got her doctorate from the architectural engineering department.
Doctorate, wow.
In virtual reality design.
Okay.
I helped her with it.
That's interesting, but it's hard enough to design in the real world.
Well, I think there would be an argument among the 3D design. John Mesner at Penn State believes that he's operating in the 3D world, in the real world. So,
yeah.
You're just an old timer.
Yeah, it's true.
So anyway, what she said was that the thing about being in the architecture school was that everybody hugged everybody, and then when she went to the AE department, nobody hugged anybody at all.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So that was not the case in Syracuse. There was no hugging going on.
Oh, I'm sure there was. It was 35 years ago. The truth of the matter is, I set up a studio independent of the school. The reason I joined the fraternity was because it was right across the street from the architecture school, and I set up my own private room and my own private studio. So I was really the outsider. I didn't have much to do with the school. So if there was a lack of sociability in the School of Architecture, it was clearly my fault. But I had my own studio, so that was cool. School, the professor there were two professors. One of them, my second year professor, worked from a Bauhausian modernist point of view.
Hence the Bauhaus that's over there.
Well,
look, are you a big Bauhaus enthusiast?
Well, no, not really. A friend gave me the book, family friend, but there's a discipline with Bauhaus that I've learned to appreciate. So
what does that mean? There's a discipline.
Things were stripped down to their essence, and that's not an easy thing to do.
No, it isn't.
But so that's kind of what I learned there, and then there was a proper way to design and approach something at school.
What is the proper way to approach something?
Well, when I went to Johnson's office after school, he didn't.
Johnson who?
Philip Johnson.
You worked for Philip Johnson?
I did, yes.
How old were you then?
23.
What year was that?
78. I worked there for 4 years.
What was your job title?
Gopher, I think.
Oh, you put the things on his name on the scales, right?
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
Well, yeah. No, that's nothing really interesting there.
Well, anyway, hold on. This is a scale, right? What's it called?
The architect scale.
There's an architect scale. All right. Okay. And what you did was you made sure his name got engraved on one.
He would order them by the dozen with his name engraved and then custom engraved, and then conveniently leave them at clients.
Oh, of course.
Meetings. So then clients could hold on to that scale for the rest of the
right.
lives. No, that was a good thing. What I learned at Johnson's office, two things. One is that he made extraordinary buildings. You don't have to like the design, but they were really, really well built.
Name one.
Well, the AT&T building, the PPG building, the list. I've got books on his work, but they're.
What's your favorite?
Of Johnson's buildings?
Yeah.
I don't really like his work. But what he taught me was was that you could make an extraordinary building and not follow somebody's other design ideas. What I learned in school was a way to design. What I learned in Johnson is I didn't have to follow that.
Oh, that's useful.
Yes, yes.
It's like going to law school and then finding out when you graduate from law school that you have no idea how to practice law.
Yes, there you go. Okay, there's a parallel there. So, and then I traveled to Japan, and
For whom?
for myself. My future wife and I took backpacks, and then we stayed for 2 years. We both found jobs in our industry, and that allowed us to stay there. And we traveled around Japan, and Japan was an eye-opener for design, because they don't do anything like the Western world. So then all these things you take for granted, you learn to question. And if you question something, that becomes a design tool. You can change something. Yeah. So that was my three lessons there, right? One is the discipline of design. The other one is that as long as you have the discipline, it's good, but it doesn't have to be somebody else's discipline. And then the third thing was that you can really, well, it's just a much broader design out there. The Japanese never put a door in the middle of a wall. And in Western world, the door always goes in the middle of the wall if it's thought about.
Why do they put a door in the middle of the wall?
Because when you enter the room in Japan, you assume, in fact, they have a screen that falls down and you have to bow as you go through. You assume that someone is more important in the room than yourself. And how can you presume to walk in at the most important place in the room? Who are you to occupy that space? So the door is off center and kind of out of the way so you can quietly enter the room, which is just such a beautiful thing, even if it's an empty room. So when you put a door in the middle of the room, it should be only there for a very important reason. And so that's the sort of thinking that I learned in Japan, which you don't get when you're in your own culture.
This is the end of part 1 of the Pajama Factory here in fabulous Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Find it on the map if you can. This is Joel Salkoff. Return of Joel's column will appear shortly. Don't be surprised if Mark's in it.